Hello everyone, my name is Greg. I'm pre-sales engineer in Xopero software, and today I would like to talk with you about endpoint protection. It's really nice to me that all of you are there. I would like also to say hello to Valentina, Chris, and all of you who contacts me regularly. Before we start, I would like to ask you two questions. First question, can you hear me? And the second question, can you see my shared screen? Okay, I've got Valentina write me a message, so Valentina can hear me. I guess that the rest of you also can hear me well. So please confirm me if you can see my screen, because I'm sharing with you the screen with presentation right now. And there is a question panel or chat which can you use to answer my questions. Okay, so Valentina also confirmed and Mario also confirmed that can see my screen and hear me well. So I think that this is the time when we can start our webinar. A few things about our webinar. This session is recorded. So after the webinar, I will share with you the recording and today's presentation also. Moreover, of course, if you will have any questions during our webinar, of course, you can use question pane to ask this question, and I will try to answer all of them. So let's start. Maybe not all of you knows me or our company, so the first slide will give you some information about myself and about my company. Here you can see my contact details. So if you will have any questions in future, of course, you can contact me as well. Oh, I'm really sorry. I don't know why this slide is in Polish. So few information about our company. Our company has been established in 2009 in Poland, and since this time we are gaining experience in data backup. And we've started as cloud backup provider, but later we also developed solutions for local backup. Nowadays, there is about 30% in our team, and we are available all over the world in about 25 countries. So before we start the webinar session, we should ask ourselves, what is an endpoint device? And there is a lot of information about endpoint devices. And the endpoint device was a hardcore punk band from Kentucky in 19th, but now we are not talking about music, but we are talking about IT, where endpoint is any device connected to the network. And in IT security, endpoint is any end user device such as desktop, laptop, or mobile in local or remote location connected to the network. So I think that it's quite easy definition, but it lets me to point what about we will be talking during this webinar. So we know what is endpoint. Now we should ask why it's important to secure endpoint devices. To be aware of endpoint security, we should ask what kind of data is stored on those devices. And as we know, there are a lot of data. Very often, there are a lot of sensitive data on users' computers, such as documents and presentations, invoices and accounting documents, and also on the endpoint devices, we will find emails and other applications. And there are only examples, and only you know the real value of data stored on your endpoint device, on your computer on which we are working every day. So why it's important to secure endpoint devices? Now just imagine that you lost your computer and try to recreate history of your emails, important documents, presentations, or invoices for customers. Difficult, huh? In case of lost data, most of them is difficult to recover or unrecoverable. So because we are not able to take once again the same photo or prepare the same document or the same invoice, it will be If even it is possible, it will be very difficult for us to prepare those information once again in case of losing them. So the risk. What are the risks of losing data from endpoint? Is it real risk? Take a look at statistics, because as far as we know, numbers don't lie. 35% of users lose some data each year. So ask yourself, did you ever lose your data? I'm quite sure that about half of you answered yes, and I'm also in this group because I lost data about 1 year ago from my external HDD, and to be honest, it was also my way of protecting my data, but now I know that it's not a good way to try to protect your data. So let's go. 50% of HDD die within 5 years, and that's why I lost my data. And in all of devices, there are HDD drives. And how old is your HDD drive? 34% of data loss is caused by mistaken deletion or software error. This statistic tells us that there are risks against we cannot secure. We cannot secure before our mistakes or against software errors. So now we know the risks. We know why we should secure our endpoint devices. So how we should secure those devices and how backup solution should be. I think that this is a very important question. And modern endpoint backup solution must meet high customer needs in following ways. First of all, is security. The backup solution must be secure because it protects all sensitive data. So those data must be backed up in as secure way as it possible, including data encryption, including also encryption of entire transmission, and of course data on the storage also must be secured. The backup solution must be able to manage multiple users and devices in easy way. It should let to create administrator and user accounts in easy way and assign backup devices to them. The best option is to do it everything from just one application. Very important in case of endpoint devices is different authentication data and encryption key for the users because sensitive data of each users are encrypted and secured with their own encryption key. So the users cannot see their baked up data. Of course, it's also important to support backup of local and remote devices. Independent if your device is in or outside office, you should be able to back up it directly to your local backup server. The backup solution should be also able to grant and deny some users permission. As administrator, be sure that all critical data is backed up and users is not able to remove them from backup or modify backup policies. So as administrator, you should have full control about everything what is made with your backup solution. Of course, very important is that backup solution not impact on users' productivity. Application should be invisible for the users even during backup process. So it shouldn't consume too much resources from user computer, or even if it does, it should be done in the way invisible for the user. And of course, in case of any failure, any crash, it's very important to fast and easy restore user data to local or remote devices. Also, it's very important to make possible restore process even by not IT trained user or remotely by administrator. So let's start talking about security, how Xopero secures user data. And there are two sides of security of user data, because the protection of user data starts on the client side, where all data are encrypted with AES 256 key length algorithm. This algorithm lets us to encrypt user data in the most secure way, because nowadays this algorithm is unbreakable. Moreover, we are also on the server side storing those data in encrypted form. So everything what is encrypted directly on your devices will be stored on the backup server in the same way. Very important is also data compression and fact that all backups are made in incremental and differential way. Why it's important and why its impact on user security? Because it lets us to reduce the backup window. All backups are made faster, and thanks to it, the data are more secured. Of course, there is also file versioning. It's also very important when we are talking about security, because let's imagine that our employee will make some changes in our files that we don't want, and then we are able to go back to the previous version of our file and recover them directly from our backup solution. And of course, very important is transmission. If we are talking about local solution where everything is within one company, maybe it's not so important to use HTTPS, but if you've got remote employees who are working outside your office, then transmission also should be encrypted, because as you know, we're sending very often very sensitive data of users. And let's take a look on the server side. After all data are transferred, there is data verification process. Each backup, our services are checking if all files are sent successfully. And if there will be any mismatching on the zoom control, and then application will try to send the same data once again to be sure that everything has been backed up properly. Moreover, automatically one per day, there also run data verification process and checks consistency of data in the data store. Very important is also automatic Xopero database dump, because thanks to it, in case of any failure of your backup server, you will be able to recover entire backup environment on any other solution, on any other server. To increase the level of security, it's also possible to parallel write to different locations. So it's very easy to configure, and you can, as the administrator, you can provide additional path for your data store in which parallelly we will write all data from your backups. And for the users of Xopero Crowd solution, we've got, of course, secure solution in case of the states, and in case of LATM, the data center is located in the United States in Washington. Exactly. Okay, let's go to another slide. Maybe I will try to go to this slide. And some words about user management, because it's very important, user management in endpoint security. So the backup solution should let you to manage the user, create the user groups in easy way, and set up their permissions. Because as administrator, you should decide, you should be able to decide what your users will be able to do. Okay, and now let's go to the management center application. Some of you knows this application. I know it because you are contacting me very often. And thanks to this application, you are able to manage your users and their devices, backup policies, centrally and remotely. So from just one application, I'm able to configure backup on all devices across my company. And I will make it full screen. And first of all, I would like to show you how to create the group. The group lets me to group the users, but it's also the admin accounts. So let's name my group, for example, accounting. And into this group, I will assign all users of accounting department in my company, but the group is also the administrator account who can log into Management Center application and manage all users assigned to this group. And of course, The administrator also may receive the daily reports which contains all information about backups performed within last 24 hours by all users assigned to this group, to this administrator. So by clicking Add Group, I've just created the new one group, and at the top of the list we can see the accounting group. By clicking on the group, I filter the content of this tab, and right now there is no devices because I did not assign any device, any user to this group. So now I've got group created, then I'm able to create also the user. It's very easy process in our solution because you have to provide only the username. So I will name my user as user, and of course you have also to provide the password for this user, and then select to which group you would like to assign the user. So I'm assigned this user to accounting group that I've just created. There is also a possibility to define email address for the user. Right now, this email address is not used by our solution, but we are going to add email notification for the user in very near future, and that's why we are gaining this email address right now. Because on the other hand, you will have to edit each user in future when we add this feature to our application. So let me to provide the same email address, for example. And there is also information about definition of encryption key. A few slides ago, I mentioned about different encryption key for each user. So here is the definition process. And we've got two kinds of encryption key in our solution. There is default and custom encryption key. Default encryption key is very easy in use because it's generated automatically and stored in database on the backup server. And on the other hand, we've got custom encryption key, which lets you to provide your own password on which based encryption key will be created. So by providing the password, after that, the encryption key will be generated, but what is very important, this key will be not stored in the database. So as the administrator or user, you have to remember, or you have to securely store this password, this encryption key password, because if you will lose this key, this password, you will not be able to recover your data. But of course, it increases the security level because any first person without knowledge of this encryption key will be not able to access your data. Of course, we are able also to assign the device when user will be created. And we have to choose between one of those two account types, between endpoint and server account. Of course, now we are talking about endpoint security, so I will choose the endpoint device also. By clicking create, I'm creating the user, and here we've got the device which has been not assigned to any users yet, but I wouldn't like to select this device right now because I'm not sure if it's not connected to any other solution in our network, because as producer, as developer of Xopero, we have to test it very often and very strong, so probably this device is connected to another server in our company. So I will not assign, but the user has been successfully created. And let's take a look one more time to the list. And there is accounting group, and below this group is my user. And after that, to this user, I have to assign the devices. And some of you may thought that this is complicated, this is useless, and very often, yes, it is. But this organization, this user tree, lets you to cover entire IT infrastructure in company in which you have to develop our solution. So for example, if you are talking about small company where only few devices to protect and all of them are managed by administrator, you can of course create only one user and assign all devices to this one user and manage all devices directly from management center application. But if we are talking about huge company which is divided into departments, you can create separate administrator for each department, You can assign the users of department to this administrator, and after that, assign all devices to the valid users. So the way of our organization depends only on company needs. I was talking also about permissions, and here I've got Xopero endpoint user, and to this user right now, as you may see there, I've got assigned device, and I can manage this user and this device. So I would like to show you right now something about permissions, because I mentioned that it's also very important for administrator to have control about user permissions and about what user can do with application. So I can deny all permissions for my user and click save. Right now, my user is not able to do anything. There is information that remote command process may take about 30 seconds. So just click OK, and let me go to the agent application. So this is the agent application. This is the application for the users. This application lets me also to define the backup sets, restore my data, or even change my encryption key and application settings, of course, if I've got permissions to do it. And right now, as you may see, I'm not able to create the backup set. The Start Now and Delete Backup Set button are also disabled. There is also the Restoring tab, but right now there are no data. But the permission to restore data also has been denied for me. I'm not able also to resume or pause my backups. And if we will go to the settings, I'm not able to change the performance settings as the user, and I'm not able to change my encryption key due to denied permissions. So as you see, it's very easy to create and manage users, to deny and grant permissions for them. Moreover, there is also application without graphical user interface. So if you don't want to give user access to the application, just install application without interface, because it's fully centrally managed. Xopero lets you also to integrate with Active Directory environment. You can install remotely Xopero agents over GPO and import selected Active Directory users directly to Xopero. And I will not demonstrate this feature because right now I'm not working in Active Directory environment, but it's really easy. If we will run the Management Center application as Active Directory administrator, then you will get Active Directory user mapping feature available, and you will have only to select the users and assign them to the endpoint or server license. So it's even easier than creating Xopero users. But if you would like to use the Active Directory integration with Active Directory, you have also to install on the user's computer the Xopero Active Directory agent, because we've got special version of our application for Active Directory environments. This application is working without service. So if user is logging out from the computer, then also application tab works. But of course, it's everything due to Active Directory environment. So we know how we should manage the users. We know that we are able to integrate with Active Directory. Now let's talk about security and creating the backups. First of all, if we are talking about endpoint protection, it's very important to secure all your local data. Those documents, those emails, and those photos or videos that are stored on your devices. So secure the most important files and directories from your computer. In a very easy way, you are able to select data to backup locally from the application, of course, if you've got permission to do it, or remotely, thanks to the Management Center application. And I would like to show you how to do it. Remotely, it's very easy. Here is the Management Center application. Once again, go to the backup sets. I will show you a list of my all backup sets, which is right now empty. And now I'm able to create the local data backups. Each backup set is a set of information about kind of data which you would like to back up. So I've just selected local data. Each backup set also contains information about which data should be backed up. Each backup set also has own scheduler and some advanced option, and also for file-based backup there is filter tab available. So I will name my backup set as important data, and then I have to select the data which I would like to back up. I can do it in 4 ways, because I can provide the path manually. For example, I would like to back up all C drive. I can connect remotely to the computer from which I would like to perform backup, and I can select the data in a remote way. There is also a possibility to select one of predefined path. For example, desktop, where users very often stores all important data. And moreover, you can select one of the environment variable to backup. So for example, we can select the temp path also. The scheduler is very easy to set up, because by default there is selected on demand option, which means that user or administrator can start backup manually, but it will not be started automatically. The backup can start automatically every provided period of time, starting from 15 minutes up to 6 hours, every day at provided time, on selected day of week at provided time. And there is some more options. For example, we are able also to create the backup set which will run only once. For the daily backups, we are able to define as many hours as we need. For weekly backups, we are able to select the days of week in which the backup should start. And there are also there is also possible to set up monthly backups and select in which day of month this backup should run. There is the filter tab. As I mentioned, the filter tab is available only for file-based backup. In this filter tab, you are able to select which files should be included or excluded from the backup. The file could be provided by the name, extension, or even entire path. Moreover, we are able also to skip files larger than provided size. And for example, if I would like to let my users only to back up their documents, I think that 200 megabytes per each file will be enough. I would like also to limit backup possibility only to the documents files. And there are also some advanced options available for each backup. For example, I would like to select file retention to 30 days, what means that the oldest version will be available for me from 13 days. And here is also possible to disable encryption and compression for each backup. Also, I'm able to shut down computer when backup is done. So after backup is done, there will be displayed information on user computer that will be shut down after 5 minutes. And if user doesn't cancel this process, then computer will be securely shut down. So let's back to the general tab. I will stay with on-demand option in the scheduler and just click save. And that's all about creation the backup set of local data. It's really easy to secure user local data. And let me show you the same option in the client application, but I lost it. Probably it's in tray. And yes, it is. So let's go to the backup sets tab. Here you can see the important data. So this is the backup set that I've just created. I can click to edit this backup, but right now I haven't enough permission to do this action. So let me grant once again those permissions. I would like to manage backup sets, and for example, I would like also to be able to restore data. Just click save, and in 30 seconds, it should, one more time, oh, here we are. So we should wait a few seconds until this option will be available and until I will be able to do anything with the data with my backup sets in the application. There was information that it may take about 30 minutes, and as you may see, all buttons has been enabled right now. So I'm able also to create the backup set in the same way as from the Management Center application. It's really easy, so even not IT trained user will be able to define its own backup set. So for example, I would like to perform backup of my old screenshots that are stored on my desktop. And as you may see, there is also a scheduler, and there are also some advanced options, including the filters. And just click Save to create one more backup set. So let's back to our presentation. So now we've got secured all local data, and now it's very important also to secure the HDD images, because it lets you to secure yourself against installation of entire operating system with all applications by just only creating HDD image backup. It's really easy, but thanks to this backup, we are able to perform bare metal recovery process. In this process, you are able to recover entire operating system thanks to bootable tool, which is called Smart Virtualization Stick. This tool is included in all our local backup solutions. We are providing this tool as ISO image, so thanks to this tool, we are able to create any bootable storage such as USB stick or, for example, CD or DVD drive or any other what you need. But moreover, we are also able to create the virtual machine, which is based on HDD image backup. So thanks to it, we will be able easily to recover entire user computer without wasting time for operating system installation or for application installation. And moreover, in case of crash of critical device, you will be able to boot it up as virtual machine. And I would like to show you how to create the HDD image backup set. Once again, from the Management Center application, go to the Add Backup Set. There is HDD image backup option, and here we've got two ways of creation this backup set. There is bare metal backup and partition backup. Of course, we are strongly interested in bare metal backup right now, but partition backup lets you to perform backup of selected partition, and after recover of partition backup, you will be able to mount this partition to, for example, a virtual machine, which is right now working, or to working operating system. But let's go to the bare metal, because this way, this kind of HDD image let me to perform bare metal restore process and also to create the virtual machine. So just provide once again the backup set name. So in this case, I will name this backup set as HDD image, and I have to choose the hard drive which I would like to backup. I'm able to exclude the partition from the backup, but as you may see, there is no partition to exclude because all of them are system partitions. But for example, if I will have here the D partition for the data, I will be able to exclude this partition and backup the data, for example, as a local data backup set. And just click Save. Now I get information about fast startup feature, which is available in Windows 10 operating system. And this feature may cause some difficulties while we would like to boot the virtual machine. So it's recommended to turn off this feature for the backup. Okay, and that's all about defining the HDD image backup. Really easy. So let's talk about efficiency of this kind of backup set of HDD image backup. So for full backup, we should take a look at version 3.9.5. This is the newest version of our solution. And here we've got information about speed and performance of those kind of backup. In this case, there is incremental backup. So we've got information that we also are able to perform those kind of backup in an incremental way. And there is also information about the speed of the restoring the data directly on QNAP NAS. But what's very important, you should take a look at the bottom of the slide. because there is information about environment which has been used to test the HDD image backup performance. And as you may see there, it wasn't so strong device. It wasn't device specially prepared for the HDD image backup test. It was not too fast CPU with only 3 GB of memory, with Windows 7 operating system, and with HDD drive, not SSD. Okay, let's go and tell something more about important features according to backup. It's very important to make backup automatic and in background. And in Xopero, all backups are performed automatically according to the scheduler. You saw how to define the scheduler for each backup set. And of course, each backup set has its own scheduler. All operations are made in background without any effect at users' work. And you know how to set up the scheduler, but even if our application will try to affect on user work, we are able easily to set up the performance of our application. So for example, I'm able to limit the upload and download speed. I'm able also to set up the performance between fast computer and quick backup. One step inside of quick backup means one core more takes part in backup or restore process. And there are also some limitations. By default, our application, our service is working with a lower priority. And as you probably know, the priority queue is managed by Windows operating system. And we are able also to limit hard disk consumption by monitoring input-output QE. And if our application will see that this QE increase too fast, we will be able to reduce the number of input-output operation. Of course, backup will be slower, but still user will be able to work on his computer. And the same settings are available also from the agent application. And let me find this application from the tray and go to the settings tabs. And here's also performance settings, but I've got denied permissions. So as the user right now, I'm not able to set up the performance for my application. So I have to wait until my administrator will do it for me. And moreover, we are able also to set up performance for the groups, for all devices that are assigned to the administrator. But right now, I cannot find out the group with any device. Maybe this one, maybe no. Okay, last try. Okay, so I'm not able to show you because I should. I will show you because it's really easy to reassign the user to another group. Just select change group option. I will assign this group to our accounting group, to our accounting administrator, and one more time set up performance. And in this way, I will be able to set up performance for each device assigned to the user of accounting group. Okay, and let's back to the presentation. Create backup templates. It's also very important because backup templates let you to create backup sets for multiple devices in fast and easy way, of course, remotely, directly from the management center application. And we are able to secure hundreds or even thousands of devices with just only few clicks. How to do it? Really easy. Let's go back to the management center application. At the top, we've got options feature, which is called manage backup templates. So we are using this option. And backup template is a set of backup sets that are not assigned yet to any device. So just select local data because right now it's only there are only local data backups available in the backup templates. Provide the template name. So for example, accounting group. This template will be designed for accounting group and will allow me to back up all data from accounting computers. Backup set name, so I will name this backup set as accounting documents. And now I have to provide the path. Right now I've got only 3 options because I'm not able to choose remotely the path for my backup, because as I mentioned, this backup set is not assigned yet to any device, so our application doesn't know from which device we would like to choose the path. So I'm able to provide this path manually. And for example, I would like to perform backup of documents path. There is also the filter, the advanced tab, and the scheduler in the same way as for normal backup set. So I will just click save only. There is accounting group backup set. And right now I'm able to add template to entire group, very easy. But if I don't want to add the template to entire group, I will be able also to add the template for selected devices. So for example, I am able to select only those 3 devices, and I will be able to add backup set to those 3 devices. Just click OK, and backup set template has been sent. So let's go back and list all backup set on my device, and here is accounting DAX backup set, which comes from backup template. So in this way, I'm able to send this backup template to hundreds or even thousands of devices. So let's go over the presentation. And the next very important thing is about recovering of HDD images, because right now we are able to recover HDD image on any machine in bare metal restore process or run this HDD image as virtual machine. About bare metal restore process, I mentioned a few slides ago. Thanks to Xopero Smart Virtualization Stick, you are able to perform bare metal restore process on any physical machine, so it can be different machine than source machine for your backup, because Smart Virtualization Stick has feature which lets you to reset Windows drivers to default option, to default drivers. So thanks to it, we'll be able to boot up the operating system with default settings, and after that, you will be able to assign your own drivers. And we are able to run this HDD image also as the virtual machine. There are a few ways of running this HDD image as virtual machine. The easiest way is available in Xopero QNAP appliance, because with just few clicks, I'm able to create the virtual machine which based on my backup, not export, but virtual recovery feature. There are 2 virtual machines that are already stopped, but I'm able also to create this machine in a very easy way, because I can do it from choosing backup set, and for example, user Xopero demo from device Xopero presentation in HDD image backup set, perform HDD image of its computer, and then I have to select the destination directory on my QNAP NAS. This is the directory to which the HDD image will be saved, because we have to decrypt this HDD image, decompress, and of course, due to security reasons, we cannot write directly to your backup file. That's why we have to make an export process of this data. Or if you have exported or prepared this image earlier, we are able also in easy way just select the HDD image which you would like to use and provide the details for your virtual machine. And in next step, I will be able, then in the next step, virtual machine will be created, and I will be able to start this virtual machine on my QNAP NAS. But this was the first way. The second way is to start the virtual machine on any physical machine. Thanks to Smart Virtualization Stick, just boot any computer with Smart Virtualization Stick and run the virtual machine on this computer. But what's very interesting, the HDD drive of this virtual machine can be placed on any network location in your local area network. So you don't need, for example, to copy the HDD image to your computer, which HDD drive, for example, is not working right now. Just store this HDD image directly on your backup server and connect to this HDD image from the computer, for example, on which HDD dies. The next option is to convert the HDD image to any other format that is supported by popular hypervisors such as VMware Hyper-V or VirtualBox, because very soon we are going to release the Xopero image tool, which lets you to convert between multiple extensions of virtual drives. And the last options, which also will be very soon available for our users, is to run virtual machine in the same way as in QNAP, but for Xopero backup and restore solution, which can be installed on any Windows server or any Windows operating system, not only server. But this feature will be very soon available, and it will run with VirtualBox. It's also very easy to make data and device migration with our solution. Are you going to change user's computer and don't want to lose time for data transfer? Just create backup on current user's computer, and after that recover it on new one. So let me show you the recovery of the data. So for example, here is the Xopero server. Okay, for example, let's go to the restore data process of the Xopero server for the Xopero server user. I will select the entire departition and all files from the departition. By clicking download, I have to select to which computer I would like to recover those data. So by selecting my computer, all data will be recovered to the administrator computer on which Management Center application already is working on, or I can restore the data on one of the user's computer. Right now, I don't want to select any of those devices because they are not connected already to the backup server. But as you see there, I'm able to select one of those two devices and recover the data to another device from which backup has been made. And at the end, I have to select only the location to which I would like to recover the data. Of course, data migration can be also made with HDD image backup, because you can recover it on any physical machine, not only on the same as source machine. So it could be quite different computer, and also will be able to recover our operating system with applications and all users' data. And we are going to finish our webinar. So right now, if you've got any questions, you can use the question panel or chat to ask the question, and I will try to answer all of them in the best way as I'm able. So I will wait for your questions about 2 minutes. And the first question is from Kirk Parker. Does Xopero support 2FA, for example, with YubiKey? No, right now we are not supporting these features, but we are considering it, and maybe in future we will add some support of two-factor authorization. So, do you have maybe any more questions? Okay, first question from the Kirk. Did you say that only AD agent version allows backup with user locked out? No. The AD agent doesn't allow to perform backup when user log out from the Windows operating system, but other agents, other version of the agent, because if you decide to use one of our local backup solution, you get multiple applications. And right now I will show it on my QNAP NAS because I've got there installed Xopero QNAP appliance. I would like to show you the multiple applications that are available for you and your users. So here is this is the first application. This is the control panel. You saw also the standard agent today, and you saw also the Management Center application. And in Download Center, there is Management Center, there is Windows Agent with graphical interface, there is also Windows Agent without graphical interface, there is also Windows Agent Active Directory, there is also command line application. This application lets us to secure all operating system which supports Java, but this application has main points working only in command line. There is also smart virtualization stick, information about mobile application that they will be available soon, and to clarify information about logging out users. If user is working with Windows agent or Windows agent without graphical user interface, there is service which is working in background. This service is starting when Windows operating system starts, before user is logged into the operating system, and since this time this service is able to perform backups. Even if user will log in and log out from the Windows operating system, still there will be the service which is working in background and performing the backup. But for Active Directory agent, there is no background service. So if Active Directory user will log out from the operating system, the backup process stops. And I think that my answer was quite clear, and right now you know how it works. Where are stored the backup? Which country? Pierre. There are two. We've got two cloud environments right now, but for you, all data are stored in the United States, exactly in Washington. I would like to see how to integrate Xopero with AD. Was researching any guide in Xopero knowledge base, and I can't find nothing. There is any guide to integrate AD with Xopero. Edwin, I will follow up you with this question after this webinar. I will contact you today about Active Directory integration, because right now I'm not able to show you how to integrate with Active Directory because I don't have here Active Directory environments, but be sure I will remember about you and I will try to show you all information about Active Directory. But Edwin, you mentioned about our knowledge base, so for all of you who doesn't know Xopero, I'm sorry, because I'm right now logged in as the agent, so I will try to log out. Change the language, and if you go to the support.xopero.com, you will get access to our knowledge base, where you will be able to find all information, maybe on mapping Active Directory users. And here you've got basic information about mapping Active Directory users, and also here is Xopero integration with Active Directory. So Edwin, I will also try to answer this question over the question panel, and let me know if there is no information that you need in our knowledge base. I will try also to answer all your questions. Tomorrow I will contact you and I will try to resolve all your issues. Is the management server only Windows based? It's a question from Nancy. Right now, yes, but to clarify, there is the backup server and there is no management server in our solution. The backup server right now can be installed on QNAP device or on Windows operating system, 64 bits of course. We are supporting for the server Windows 7 operating system or Windows Server 2008 and greater, of course. And on the other hand, we've got management center application. This application can be installed on any Windows operating system, since Windows Vista and Windows Server 2008. And right now we are not going to develop the management center application for non-Windows operating system, but we are going to release Docker solution of our server, so we will be able to run server on Linux operating systems. Okay, and I see that there is no more questions. So the last slide of the presentation. If you will have any question in the future, you can contact us directly with the technical question. You can contact directly with me. So here you can find my email address, and below there is also my phone number. With sales questions, you can with sales or business question, you can contact with my colleague Robert Zentkowski. And here you can find his contact details, email address, and also phone number. And both me and Robert are available also on WhatsApp, so you can WhatsApp us too. And thank you very much for taking part in today's session. I hope that you get all information about, or valuable information about, endpoint security and protection. And of course, remember that if you will have any questions in future, feel free to ask. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.